I wanted to just leave you with one of the characteristics of an eagle when they mate, and I think this is really important, and I shared it with Gary last week. There's a lot of characteristics about eagles. I could talk about eagles forever, but they're visionaries. But when eagles mate, what happens is the female eagle is a little bit larger. She has a larger beak, a larger mouth, and she plays this game with the male eagle. So the male eagle finds the female eagle, and he's very interested in her. And so what he does to kind of show his male eagleness is he goes and he gets a stick, and he follows her in like a circle 8, and he's on her tail. Like, she's right here, and he's right here, and he's like, look, here's the stick. So he gives her the stick, and she looks at it like, what's this? And then she drops it, and he has to go down and swoop it. And so then he brings the stick back to her like, I caught your stick, will you be mine now? And she looks at him, and she's disinterested, and she drops it, and she goes back, and she finds a bigger stick. And so then the eagle finds the bigger stick, and she goes up, and she drops it. And the male eagle has to go and fetch that bigger stick. And then he's chasing her around in the section 8, and he's on his tail, and he's bringing her the bigger stick. And so she gets it, and then she's like, okay, and she drops it. He has to go get it. And then she finds the third time the biggest stick that she could find, probably as big as she is. And she gets that big stick that weighs probably just as much as she does. And she takes it up, and she drops it. Now, the eagles that are not qualified, they're probably flying away, but the male eagle, he really, really wants to be with this eagle woman. So, she drops the big stick, and he goes, and he gets it, and he brings it to her. And she says, now you're qualified. And she qualified him. And do you know what? From that point on, those eagles are the only birds, when they come together, they mate forever. They nest together, they build their house together, they weather the storms together. She's preparing the nest while he's out getting the food for the babies, and she's taking care of home. And those eagles, when the storms come, like chickens and buzzards and all of those, they have to fly south for the winter. But not the eagles. They stick together, and they rise above every single storm they may face, but they do it together for life. And the amazing part of what eagles do is, once, she qualified him, when eagles go through Eagle University and they have kids and it's time to teach the kids how to fly, guess what? Mama Eagle makes sure that nest is not comfortable anymore, and she takes the down fur and she makes it really uncomfortable for the kids because she has to teach them responsibility, and she pushes them out of the nest. And with their little weak wings, they're just soaring down, and you think they're about to die. And then Father Eagle comes down right before the baby eaglet hits the ground, and he saves them. Just like he had to catch that big twig. And he takes the baby up for the next flying lesson. So moral of the story is, we are to test before we trust. But even more so, when you come together to mate, and those tests qualify you. And so many times we get in relationships and we don't even know that person. And, a relationship, it's built over time, but you have to prove yourself to one another, and you have to learn to trust that person. And does that person have my best interest? Are they going to pick up my twigs if I drop them? Or are you just going to let them fall to the ground? So that is something very, very powerful about the eagles. Once they mate together for life, and they just don't take anybody.
I think this was a great event because people came together and they shared their thoughts and feelings openly, and there was so much enthusiasm. And when you're together with a group like that and you get that kind of enthusiasm, you take part of that home with you and you create new things.
I just want to say, I'm just so grateful for Delisha for putting together this event. It was an opportunity for us to share the gifts that been given, you know, by our relationship together.
Got as much out of this as anybody else in here, and I feel that this is something that I want to go forward with, and I want to help to grow, and I want this to be the smallest room that we ever have from this point on. I want the other people around that were on the panel, I know that we're all in agreement. We want to do this again. We want more for the community, and we would definitely want to be able to give back and say thanks to God for all that He's been into us and brought to us.